Mattias, I mean, is it something, did he just reach a point where he had to be shut down? Like, I guess, how did it go down, I guess, that he has to have surgery and stuff?
He got injured in the last game, so it wasn't. I mean, he's had lingering injuries just by virtue of how he blocks shots and finishes hits, and the body's always banged up and sore. But this was an injury that happened in the game. That was he was not dealing with this injury prior to it the other night. He was dealing with different soreness, but not the injury that we're speaking of now. With it's going to take surgery.
How do you get the defensive group to kind of rally now around not having Mattias the rest of the way? How do you get like to make up for his absence now?
We've had a number of games without him this year, and a year ago we were very challenged without Mattias, and the numbers show that. Just the win, and I say numbers, win-loss, just wins and losses showed when we didn't have Mattias last year. We obviously brought in Erik Johnson, Clifton. We know our defensemen were the youngest, a very, very young group. They're different this year. They've grown our young defensemen. Ryan Johnson's come in and done a really nice job. Clifton and Erik Johnson have done a nice job. So when Mattias has been out, we've kind of been able to shore that area up. The biggest challenge for us this year is we've had more injuries up front, and that's where our challenge has been. You look at the guys that when we're missing 3 or 4 of our top forwards, our top 12 forwards, that's when we've run into trouble. And so I do think that the defensive group will rise. And I also think, we're dealing with Jack's injury. And it was, it's certainly a bummer for Jack because you watch how hard he works to come back, and he comes back and he's outstanding. And it really completed that line. It got Dylan going. I think it brought Peterka to another level. It brought our team to another level. But I do believe we are in a better situation to handle those losses today than we were a month ago. I just feel guys are in a better mindset. Their psyche's better. And it's unfortunate you lose guys like that. You look at it and you say, are the other guys ready to seize this opportunity? Because there's new opportunity. And I feel we have guys in a better position to do that.
Don, what kind of hit is it to just the group psyche when you have two injuries like that with 2 really important players in the matter of a few days, especially just where you guys are at as a group? You're trying to claw your way up the standings. You played good hockey in January.
Yeah, I mean it can, and it absolutely can affect. Those are key guys and very talented guys. But as I said, we're if we lost them. We didn't have Quinn, say, a month ago or a month and a half ago. We're just I feel the other guys that are going to have to step up, that you're going to call on, that are going to fill more minutes, are in a way better mind frame than they were. Their psyche's way better than it was a month ago. So, we lose these guys, but I still feel, very confident in the group that's going to have to pick up the slack. For missing these guys. And like I said, if just the wins and losses without Samuelsson this year and compared to a year ago, you can see we've progressed in that area defensively. And it's different than it might have been a month ago. I feel more confident in our group now to handle more workload, which is going to have to happen, than I would have a month ago.
Who are you going to count on when it comes to Quinn in particular? Is Zach somebody that you're going to try to really push to
Zach? Yeah, Zach. It's an opportunity. Zach's been great in a top 9 role. I thought he got a little bit. The grind of the season got to him a little bit. I think this break is good for everybody. I think it's certainly good for that, for a break, for guys that feel a grind and nagging injuries, those sorts of things. But I do think he's ready to step in.
What was the objective and the message, maybe coming off a break and going 90 minutes? It's as long a practice as we've seen here in a long time.
We had a nice cut in there, so don't print 90 because it wasn't a full 90. But and we took a little bit more time in between the drills. Come on, Mike. But it's today you could have had practice 10 different ways. I think tomorrow before the game, and been right. Today was just get them back on the ice, get them moving. The last 15 minutes, I can tell you, were completely theirs. Like they didn't want to stop. They were in the middle of a game and cross ice game and another game we were playing. So I'm literally watching them and saying, okay, what's their attention span? Are they? And they were having fun. And they were engaged. So we let them go by that, and they had to play to win, which drew out the last 10 minutes or so. But tomorrow now is more of okay. You're now a day before a game, and you had a longer skate today. It's more tomorrow that you have more tactically. Okay, what will we do tomorrow?
There's a little bit of a line in the sand with this season. The last 16 games, you're playing at what would be 97-point pace, and obviously we know all the things that happened before that. As you look forward here, you're in a tough spot standing-wise. You're 10 points out. Your team's playing well. You've got 33 games left. What are the goals? What are the objectives? How do you keep this team moving forward when it's going to be difficult for them to get where they wanted to be in October? It's
very similar to last year. You absolutely can't get ahead of yourself, and you can't dwell on stuff. You can't be dragged, from behind, from what may have just happened or didn't happen. And that's all points to just stay in the moment, get in the moment. We had a very brief discussion this morning just on the psyche of our group, and had to hit today was the objective of getting back on the ice and skating. But from the standpoint of psyche, we've had a lot of funny things this year, the different hiccups and really tough games. But when we've needed to dial in, when we've asked these guys, and I stood here the night before, or the night we had a miserable game, and you guys have all questioned me, well, how in the world could you think your team's going to play well the next game based on that performance? And every time I said they will. And that was games in New York and Vegas and, Boston and, on against teams that were, at their peaks at times. And this group is good when we dial in. And I think we're starting to finally learn how to do that better. And urgency is, our guys have operated better under that type of urgency. They've responded better under that type of urgency. So, obviously things get more urgent as you go, and but we have to absolutely stay within the moment.
You were out in California, and the game you guys played in LA may have been a big tipping point for them. LA lets go of Todd McLaren the other day when we're in Toronto, and I mean, what's your reaction when you stand here and think that you're like number 7 or 8 in the seniority list of coaches? You just got this job less than 3 years ago. And what does that say about the state of coaching now in this league?
I don't know what to think of that, Mike. I talk about our team staying in the moment. For me, I can't process even that stuff. I've got to this team, and we're obviously we're different than other organizations in, what we had to do 2 years ago, and just, move the experienced players out and make room for guys to get experience. Completely different situation than most teams. So no idea what to make of that. I mean, we're in professional sports, so.
How do you stay in the moment, personally?
Pardon me?
How do you stay in the moment when the pressure is ramped up and all these things? What kind of things do you do to block it out?
It's not. There's so many challenges that you have day to day. I mean, you have 23 guys here that just, you got to give them something every day. You got to, you're doing whatever you can. If it's not me specifically, we're having meetings to make sure we connect with each guy and, keep them going the right direction individually, collectively. You don't have time to really look at too much else. So, the demand of the position can ground you right in the moment. If you get pulled away, your attention is diverted anyway. You're missing the moment. There's so many things in the moment. I can tell you, I go to bed at night and wake up through the night multiple times, and it's all about what should we do in practice? What should we do? Who do I have to grab? What do we need to, do in this meeting or that meeting? There's just so many things, and obviously, our job as coaches in the business, making sure we perform well, but everybody's getting better. We're getting better. We're moving in the right direction. So you're challenged enough by that, Matthew, that you stay, you're preoccupied with the demand of the job, I guess.
Do you expect the call forward from Rochester? I know Zemgus is close, but with Jack going down.
Yeah, I expect that Zemgus and Erik will both be cleared tomorrow. So that being said, we'll have with Bryson and Erik coming back 7D and 13 forwards, which is more than enough for our first game back against Dallas.
You've talked about it with some of these young guys, like you scratch them, but it's not a normal healthy scratch. It's about taking a step back. Could you kind of explain, not to ask you the same question that you just answered, but the point he had reached in his season as a rookie and why you decided to sit him out recently and what you wanted him to do, I guess?
When we did sit him, I can't even remember which game it was, Bill. A couple of games ago, it was just a breather, just decompress, just watch a game from up top, knowing that that's such an impact for a guy. We've seen it with Quinn and Peterka and Krebs, very, very helpful. So nothing more than that. It was very much just like those guys. And really it serves the same effect even for older guys. When they do sit back, he gives them a moment to just breathe. As I just mentioned to Matthew, there's so much demand every day. Demand. There's so many stressors. There's pressure, to score a goal in this shift or that, but there's stress on these guys every single day. There's stress, and to take, have an opportunity to step back one day is a great thing.
How do you think you'll handle Devin Levi the rest of the season? I know he's in Rochester now and played well before the break, but what's the plan going forward?
I think you can make a plan, as we've said. You come in here with a 500-page coach's manual, but as soon as the season starts, it's useless. Throw it right out the door. You got to read and react. So right now, Oopie's healthy. Oopie's done a really good job, and it kind of established himself again. So I'll reiterate, he's established himself right now as the number one guy. And when we had three, we didn't have a number one guy. It was easier to have three. It's much harder to have three when you don't have when you have a number one guy. It's really hard to have three. And we're in a situation where wins are imperative. So, it's in all indicators, you're going to go with the guy that's going in as many games as you can, when he's separated himself from the group. So, Oopie's done a really nice job with that. So what does that mean for Devin? Today it means he's in Rochester. Tomorrow circumstances could change, and we would make a decision based on changing circumstances. So for Devin, again, it'd probably be changing circumstances, I guess, is the answer.
When you said this group is more, you said they earlier, when it comes to the injuries of Quinn and Samuelsson, you said they were more prepared to handle this type of situation than they were a month ago. But what's the biggest difference that a month can make with this team right now?
What I said in regard to that is all to do with their psyche. The psyche of the group is in a better place than it was 1 month ago. And so I feel we have guys that feel better about their game. You just think of Dylan Cousins, who compared to 1 month ago, his confidence with the puck and plays and able to read plays because he's feeling better about his game. We have Krebs is feeling much better about his game. As a consequence, he's playing better. So and Cousins is really taken a lead power play role. A month ago, he was not our first guy, on a penalty kill. It's him and Greenway first over the boards on a penalty kill. I don't know that Dylan was ready for that a month ago, or comfortable with that. So we just have more guys feeling better about their game and feeling really good about their game. So it's easier for me to spread those minutes around. Tuck, I used him the other night with 2 different lines. He's feeling way better about his game, and we've seen his performance, and we've seen him look like the power forward he is more and more lately.
Don, on a different note, just initial thoughts on guys around the league, maybe more specifically some of the guys in your locker room, being able to represent their countries in the Olympics moving forward, the NHL creating this opportunity. I don't know how much you've gotten to kind of think about it, but initial thoughts and maybe what does that do just for globally the growth of the sport of hockey?
Yeah, when you watch the players, when you watch the Olympics, and you get to whatever it is, 8 teams, I think 8 countries were at the last Olympics, and if I'm right on that, but in any regard, it's a whole nother level because you've pared down to the best. It's exciting, for USA hockey fans, just people born in the United States, see all the best talent, and really you get an idea how talented our player pool is and has become even in the last 10 years, with incredible talent in our league. So, and I know the players get very excited about it. I've obviously had a privilege to coach on different national teams, and anytime you do coach and specifically go to a foreign country with a USA on your jerseys or sweatsuits and whatever, it is a really incredible experience. Again, especially on foreign soil, when you do that, you're in a building in a different country playing, either the home country or another one. It's a pretty amazing feeling. So for the players to have that opportunity to, desire to try to make that Olympic team and to be a part of that is really a special, part of their careers. Thanks, everyone.